Sounds good to me. To you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, you just say.
I'm good.
All right. Hello and welcome to everyone. Today our guest is mixed martial artist Bobby Lee. Bobby, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for accepting the interview invitation. I know you have a lot of obligations right now, and thank you for your 15-20 minutes. So can you please say a few words about yourself?
Oh, hey, I'm just happy to be talking to you. I'm quarantined here at the Mohegan Sun. I've got time to kill. Um, they had my COVID test this morning, and I'm just waiting to get that cleared so I can go use the workout facility.
Great. All right. When did you start training mixed martial arts in the first place?
I was in middle school. I was like 13 years old, 12, 13 years old, and I started learning off of YouTube. I was checking books out from the library, trying to learn from these old books. Um, but I was a middle schooler when I fell in love with fighting, and I was learning off of YouTube for probably 3 years before I ever got to a jiu-jitsu gym. Um, what's cool is I was learning off of YouTube, and I asked my dad like if I can go do a jiu-jitsu tournament, and the first word he said was no, you don't know what you're doing. And so let me show you, let me prove to you that I know what I'm doing. And I went to that first jiu-jitsu tournament, and the first time I ever even practiced a flying armbar was in the warm-ups for that tournament. And then I went out and hit a flying armbar in my second match and won with nine with a flying armbar. So ever since that first jiu-jitsu tournament, I was hooked on the sport and just all in on it. Didn't look back.
Really, really excellent story. So your first martial arts was jiu-jitsu. You replied. How would you describe your fighting style?
It's an intelligent aggression. I just try to do what it works in the moment. People talk about game plans, but the game plan is always just be better at fighting. You know, if the striking is working, keep striking. If striking's not going so hot, go for the takedown. And God forbid you go to plan C, which is pull guard. I've never had to do that. I've always stuck to plan A or plan B, and it's gotten me to the big leagues.
Do you have a nickname?
But Bobby's my nickname. I don't really go by Robert.
Okay, no problems. Because I know you as yes.
I don't have a fight moniker. I don't call myself anything. Nothing has been given to me that I like so much.
So no monikers yet.
No.
Yeah, you're right about that. Moniker is something that is given to you by audience. For example, audience gave me a moniker too. In the first place, I was like, no, 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 but I accepted. It's not a big deal. I mean, maybe you'll see. Coaches, sparring partners, who's coaching you? Who are your sparring partners?
Well, one of my main coaches from day one has been Brock Larson. He's been with me since I was 16 years old. So I rose up through the ranks with him. I've got my brown belt under him, uh, and so I've been training with him since like 2012 was the first time I met him, and then ever since I graduated high school, I've been working with him just about every day of the week. And so I've been working with Brock, and like Angel Pacheco is one of my main training partners. He's a really good up and coming Minnesota fighter. Joey Hart was a really good looking training partner for me. He's a tall, long opponent, or training partner, just like my opponent. So those guys, it's a small team, um, and we're a pretty close knit group. And um, I don't like go on training camps anywhere. I go to practice every day of the week in St. Cloud, and that's where I'm at.
That's outstanding. What can you say about your first amateur MMA fight?
My first amateur MMA fight was the last month of high school, so that was a cool experience. What's nuts about that fight is we did not train. We
Hold
did
on a
not
sec.
train cycling. Yeah.
Keep talking. I will be back in 10 seconds. Okay, keep talking, please.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I we did not train any sidekicks for that fight, and I mean we mostly worked on Muay Thai. Um, but I came out and I threw a sidekick and I hit him right in the solar plexus to knock the wind out of him. And in my first fight, I got a knockdown from a move we were not training. It was again from my YouTube education, and it was pretty cool. And again, it was one of those things where it was like I have some natural talent and abilities in this, and it gave me a bunch of confidence. I was
Outstanding.
training with Adam McDonough at the time. I actually wore Adam McDonough's fight shorts for that fight. He made it to the finals of the Bellator tournament. So he fought what's his name, Koreshkov. He made it to the finals and fought
Andre
Andre
Koreshkov,
Koreshkov.
right?
Yeah, and he took him to the distance. But training with him at a young age was it gave me a huge confidence boost.
That's really, really excellent. Who was your toughest amateur opponent? Do you have one?
I do. I did. It was Otis Hamilton. That fight is on YouTube. It was the Minnesota Amateur Fight of the Year in 2014. It was a 3-round war. We both left with some black eyes. He had a couple stitches, but for sure that was the toughest amateur fight. It was my only fight that went the distance, and it was very memorable.
And how did you feel heading into your first professional fight? Were you scared, or you were like, all right, I have already gotten into the spirit of things, or?
Oh, I don't think I've ever dealt with nerves very much going into fights. I've always just been like, this is what I'm made for. So I've always felt very good going into fights. And like I said, I was training with Adam McDonough, like Tony Martin. Tony Martin's been in the UFC since I was an amateur, since 2014. So working with these higher level guys has just, I go into the fight confident in my abilities.
So, what can you say about magical arm lock in your second professional fight?
Say it one more time.
In your second professional fight, you finished the opponent via arm lock. What can you say about that?
What was really cool about that was Adam McDonough was working with me on my striking for that week, and he showed me a variation of the tornado kick on Monday of fight week, and I loved it. It was you fake the turn side kick, and you jump off the left leg and kick with the left leg. And I learned it on Monday of fight week, and then I went and did it Saturday night, and I threw it, and he had his glove up, and he blocked it, but it went right through his glove, and I got a knockdown from a tornado kick. And then he was really rocked, and I hit the straight arm lock. I wanted the Kimura, but he just straightened his arm and took the elbow instead.
All right. Can you please elaborate the technique of straight arm lock? Kimura, Americana, it's all, but straight arm lock, how it goes? Where do you make a lever?
So the thing is Brock is he's the king of Kimuras. He's one of the best in the world at the Kimura. So it's also called the wrist on wrist lock, or the double wrist lock if you're into catch wrestling. I don't know the Japanese term, but it's when your arm is at 90 degrees and it's bending, putting your thumb, trying to make the guy put his thumb to the back of his neck. Now, if you could see my mobility, there's no way my thumb is going to get to the back of my neck, but that's the motion, wrist on wrist, and it's my favorite submission. I hit a Kimura in my first fight, and I was gonna try to win my second fight with it, but the one way to get out of this is to straighten your arm. But again, you can then attack the elbow joint versus attacking the shoulder joint.
Well, I noticed similarity with the hammer lock when you elaborated it. There is minor similarity with the hammer lock.
Yes, yeah, it is pretty dang close. And then my wrestling background, high school wrestling, is the same thing. A hammer lock will feed right into it if you get that hand behind the back.
I have one friend who is a very, very big fan of Japan, and his third favorite fighter is Shinji Aoki. And if you watch Shinji Aoki versus Mizuto Hirota, I know hammer lock from there.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but okay.
But I watched that fight, and he did the same thing like that, but it ended in a fracture because Hirota didn't want to tap out.
I for sure I know the no Big Nog Nogueira and Frank Mir. He snapped his humerus, which is that's a very gnarly injury.
Was this a Kimura in their fight or was it a modified Kimura? I know they were rolling down the canvas, but I don't know which submission it was in the end.
It was a Kimura. They rolled a couple times, and it was just beautiful jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, one of the best jiu-jitsus I've ever seen, absolutely. Can you discuss your first professional loss to Jeff Petterson?
Petterson was very, very tough, very sturdy. So I hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, and he was still standing. So I hit him, and I gassed myself out punching him. I tried to knee the face, and several times the knee was just short of his face. But it was a really good learning lesson. So like, of course that loss was devastating. I was 6-0, and the conversation was that if I won that fight, they were going to give me a title shot, and to be 21 and fighting for a world title would have been, that would have been phenomenal. But I lost, and I lost by decision, and I lost because I blew too much energy expecting to take him out. So from that loss, I learned that you have to be prepared to go the distance. And my next two fights I won via decision, so I was able to have more patience. That's the thing about fighting that is ridiculous, is you need to be aggressive, but you also need to have patience and learn when to put it on, when to pour it on, and when to pull it back if you know you're not going to get the finish.
Does ground and pound waste too much energy if you throw strikes that are defended via guard like this? Or if he defends all day long and you pound, 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 is it wasting a lot of energy? Or
Well, just makes me think of Lesnar Carwin, Brock Lesnar and Shane Carwin. He rocked him on the feet, and Brock, he just put up his arms and he made a shield, and Shane Carwin, he tried to finish, and like he was just hitting his arms, and then his gas tank was gone. So if you're punching and you're not making contact, yeah, that's a waste of energy. So it's about punching, but also peeling the hands, getting the hands out of the way, peel and punch, peel and punch. So it's about combining the grappling with the striking.
when you mentioned Brock Lesnar, I have one very good finish, but when Alistair Overeem finished him, Brock was also like this, but Alistair was like this hitting. And Brock was like here, he was passing through here, He was holding and he was like this. He was pressed against the cage. He was sitting against the cage. You remember that?
I think Cain Velasquez kind of was doing that too. He expected to put the shield up and to be fine. But the thing is like when you spar with big gloves, 16-ounce gloves, you can put your hands up and you feel protected. But like right now, look, you can see my face. There's a gap here. If I go tighter here, now there's space around the edges. So it's just like with the small gloves, it's more about distance management versus putting a shield up and expecting the shield to catch everything.
What can you say about Kilis Mota as the opponent? I watched him at Bellator and got to say he looked very, very much tough in his last fight. All right, he lost via. It was kind of very surprising loss, but okay.
Yeah. Keely's was very tough. I would love to fight him again, and I might get that opportunity here in Bellator. That was a tough loss. He got me in a choke, and again, like I learned from that loss. I learned from that lesson. I was put in that guillotine, and like in my last fight in September, I was put in several guillotine attempts. But it's about knowing my limits, and I've put myself in those situations in training where I'm getting choked, and then I work my way out of it. So again, the Achilles Mota loss, another tough loss. That was my first co-main event. It's about learning from these losses. I didn't have an extensive college wrestling career, so I just to grow up in the cage has been difficult. There have been growing pains, but to move forward and learn from the losses is a big deal to me. He looks tough, but just like his last fight, he's beatable.
Yeah, absolutely. What can you tell about LFA as a promotion, and which was your hardest LFA fight?
Hardest LFA fight probably was the Petterson fight. I mean, it was a bit of a war. I was in control early, but he was still there after the first round, and that was a difficult night, tough loss to learn, or tough lesson to learn. Experience is the best teacher because it teaches us what we don't want to learn.
So LFA is a good step up for huge promotions, or
Oh, for sure. It's definitely the springboard to the bigger leagues. Like, I think they've sent like 130 some guys to the UFC. I don't know how many guys they've sent to Bellator, but it's one of the best, uh, like, feeder leagues. It's one of the best promotions to grow up in and move on to the big leagues, like, Bellator or UFC or One.
so you spend a lot of you spend a big part of your life in LFA, right? And so you learned a lot in LFA. But why did you transition? I mean, you fought Mike Hill at CFCC, right, or CFFC? How do you say it?
CFFC.
Okay. Why did you transition to CFFC, and what do you think about your last fight?
Well, it was really cool because it was the main event of UFC on Fight Pass, and that's a big deal. And just like LFA, it was a very professional league. The cage was very cool, and they kept us safe. The protocol with COVID. Um, I was very happy fighting for them, and it was another cool springboard into this. If I had not taken that fight, I don't know. Don't think I would have been in Bellator now. But I did take that fight. The opponent changed, and I still stuck with it. And here I am now with a nice shiny Bellator contract and debuting on the main card.
I was about to ask you, how is the procedure in Bellator? You say I'm quarantined. I'm quarantined right now. So how does the procedure look like?
I got to the hotel last night, and they said, okay, you're gonna take your COVID test in the morning. Don't leave the room except for the COVID test. Went and took the COVID test, and it's right back to the hotel room. I'm by myself right now. My coach Brock is in the room down the hall. He's quarantined separately in case he fails. I can still fight, and there's no contamination from him. But I don't know why that would be the case because I've been training with him this whole time. If he was going to get sick, I would probably be sick. But again, there's an abundance of caution here.
You are fighting in Bellator. Are you excited? How do you feel about this one?
It's a bit of a dream come true. I've worked my whole life. Like I said, I was a middle schooler when I said this is what I want to do with my life. I don't know how many people stuck to their childhood dream, but this is something I've been dreaming of for a very long time, like a decade plus. And I didn't. I've made sacrifices to get here. Like there's things that people my age were going out and doing that would have been fun, that would have been cool to do. But I was like, no, I'm gonna train. I'm gonna stay in the gym. I'm gonna stay focused, and it's paying off. Now here I am with a big money fight against a really good opponent. That's the cool thing about this Bellator debut is Joey Davis is he's their poster child, or he's supposed to be their next superstar. He was signed to Bellator straight out of college. He's 7-0. He's gotten good matchmaking, but now he needed a step up in competition. So they brought me in, and now here I am in the feature fight. I mean, the guy on deck after me is a former UFC world champion. So I'm right there competing with the best fighters in the world, and it feels damn good to be recognized as one of those fighters.
Okay, I have another question, but don't take it offensively, okay? You said they brought you for the kid, which means, according to your words, that you're a gatekeeper, right?
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I'm here to spoil his party, right?
Well, yeah, you're here to spoil the party, but it's obvious, according to your words, maybe they think you're a gatekeeper.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you're if my words are coming out wrong, or if there's yeah, I don't know if my words are coming out wrong. I mean, they gave me a 4-fight deal, so they're ready to work with me. So maybe they're ready to build me up into a star.
Absolutely, why not? I mean, whenever you bring somebody who is kinda, unknown underdogs and such things, I mean, never mind. But always those kind of guys are fighting literally for their life. So I expect a very, very, very good fight.
Yes, sir. I'm ready to make it a mean and nasty fight.
Yeah, that's really, really awesome. So the main card is gonna be very fun for the Bellator. Would you like to add something else to this interview? Is there something we forgot to mention? Would you like to greet someone?
I mean, I just want to shout out to my teammates in St. Cloud at Start BJJ Academy. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for being there in the gym working with me. Huge shout out to Dethrone. They've been sponsoring me for a very long time, and it means a lot that they're on board with me. Um, and again, just I got to shout out to my coach Brock Larson. He's the man. He's been with me for a very long time. So what's really cool about that fight I had in September was I won an amateur championship the same weekend in 5 years ago, and then flash forward 5 years, I win my first professional championship, and Brock was there for both of them, and he's been there the whole time, and now he's with me, for my Bellator debut. So it's just means a lot to me that he's there for me.
Yeah, really, really outstanding. Thank you for the interview. I will put the video to creation tomorrow morning your time. It's gonna be ready.
Hey, thank you very much for reaching out to me. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Have a great day and good luck.
You too.